Call the meeting to order. All rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. All members are present. Approval of the agenda. We have 7C we're going to be removing from the agenda. That will be at the next meeting. Is there any other changes or to the agenda? Do I have a motion to approve the agenda with that change?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Dan. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Joe. Okay. Call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. Approval of the minutes of the January 6, 2021 regular meeting. You all received them in your packet. Is there any changes, corrections, clarification needed with the minutes? Hearing nothing, do I have a motion to approve the minutes of the January 6, 2021 regular meeting?
Make a motion to approve.
Motion by Shallon, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Heidi. Call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. This brings us to our public open forum. Is there anyone here that would like to speak to the council? Is there anyone here that would like to speak to the council? Call a third time. Is there anyone that would like to speak to the council? Our public open forum is closed. We have no public hearings. We'll move on to reports and presentations. Police Department monthly report. Brian?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Activity report for December 2020. Some of the numbers we had 8 thefts, we had 1 fleeing, we had 20 matter of information calls, we had 109 assists for businesses, 6 motorist assists. We did 35 Walmart patrols, we did 12 welfare checks, 9 alarms we had, we assisted 18 people. We had 17 medicals, 5 accidents. We gave out 120 verbal warnings. So we had a total of calls of 414 with 120 verbal warnings. They made for 534. Compared that to 2019, we were down 26 calls and down 52 warnings. And then compare that to November, we were down 41 calls. We gave 44 more warnings, so pretty comparable. If you notice, I don't know, maybe you noticed we switched to a new data entry. Stearns County did, and so all of our police agencies had to right at the beginning of December. So format looks a little different, and I'm not even sure myself. It seems like stuff is missing, but so in saying that too, the end of the year report, we're going to struggle with that a little bit. Melissa and I are trying to, because we got to go to the old system that we had, and then now the new to try to get the stats, together. So it might be a little cumbersome. So we'll have to see how that works out. I'm not even sure how we're going to be able to pull the information from one to the other yet. So being switched in December. So hopefully we can give you some good numbers. But then otherwise, we did the interview for the full-time additional officer position. And I think that's coming up in your minutes here for we had the interviews and selected a person. So I think that gentleman will work out great. So community. So.
Okay.
That's all I have.
Questions, comments? I know you and Melissa will work on that report. You won't get off by not giving it, so.
We'll figure something out.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you.
Public Works Department, Ben?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Some of the things we've been up to in the last month. One thing that changed is we took over the maintenance from Stearns County on the rest of Sinclair Lewis Avenue from East Street to County Road 17 east of town to the cemetery. Just made sense for us to pick that up versus them breaking off of their route to grab that short little chunk, and then obviously that increased our maintenance payment from them as well. So that's something that we're taking care of now. A few snow events over the past month that we've taken care of. Out at the airport, we had to do some ice dam removal in front of the hangar doors, and then we had some insulation that we repaired in one of the hangar doors too. Library, we put some new lights in. We're upgrading them to LED fixtures, so we're about half done with this process. And we actually utilized the existing light fixtures, and they were modified to accept LEDs, so this is a lot more cost effective than buying all new LED fixtures. So that they put off a lot better light, and we were having trouble getting bulbs for the old ones anyways, so this is a good thing to get upgraded. At the outdoor rink, the ice has been a challenge this year with the warmer temperatures and the rain that we had last week. Both sheets of ice are currently open and in use. There's a couple of bad spots that people have to watch out for, but other than that, they're able to be used. Staffing is taking place Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at the outdoor rink by one of our seasonal employees. And then one minor issue we had, the main sewer line drain backed up with water, and then we were able to clear that blockage, and then we had the PUC run their camera down the pipe, and there's a spot that is going to need attention this summer, so it'll have to get excavated and repaired. But it should hopefully work till then, or we'll just have to clear the blockage again if it happens. Christmas lights were taken down for the season. Equipment repairs, just routine maintenance, including some new cutting edges on the plows. No major breakdowns to speak of. The Olympia purchase, we did find out that our Olympia that we were planning to purchase doesn't meet United States emissions requirements. So apparently from 2004 to present, that the Olympias that have a V8 motor are not able to meet those standards. This machine did come from Canada, so we are not purchasing that machine and keeping our eyes open for anything else that may come available. So the other Olympia is still in use up at the arena, and this one is going back. So that's unfortunate, but that better to find out now than a year from now. We did receive the grant money from the Black Oak Getty Wind Farm for the outdoor rink, so I'm working on materials for this project. And I did talk to the Lions Club, and it sounds like they're interested in donating some labor towards this project this summer, so that would be helpful. And then this weekend is the snowmobile races on the lake, so we're working on removing snow in the campground area to help facilitate race trailer parking. And then we also sold our 97 Chevy plow pickup. It brought about $3,800, so that was quite well, I think, for how good a shape that truck was in. So that's everything for this past month. Any questions I can answer?
Any questions?
Thank you.
Did you say the main was at the outdoor rink?
Yeah, the outdoor rink, the main sewer line back up.
Okay.
Yep.
Any other questions or comments?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Planning Commission. Sarah?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. On Tuesday, January 12th, we did hold our Planning Commission meeting, and we had a public hearing of a proposal for amendment to the zoning map for a mixed-use commercial residential planned unit development overlay district. The meeting was about an hour and a half long, and at the end of that, it was decided to table that, and so I'll be bringing that back to the February Planning Commission meeting to keep working on that proposal. Also, you have a copy of the building permit reports, and I just had the information items of like the meeting calendar, the fee schedule, and we are looking at, GTS has changed its name for educational training, and so they're trying to have some kind of virtual or Zoom type meeting, so I'm still kind of looking into that, see if we can offer it here in the building for the Planning Commission members or anybody else who's interested in, attending that virtually.
Okay.
Any questions?
Questions so far? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Also in your packet, you got the November and December 2020 building report, or permit reports in there for you to look at. So. Airport Board?
The Airport Board met in regular session on Wednesday, January 13th. They welcomed their new member, Shellen Wilbur. He took the place of Keith Johnson on that board. The Joint Airport Zoning Board meeting is now set for February 4th, 2021 at 5 p.m. That will be a virtual meeting because the county, the two members that represent Stearns County, they can't have in-person meetings yet. So we're going to have to do that one virtually. So I sent out Zoom invites for that today. And then we also are advertising that. They can contact us for the Zoom invite. And I sent it out to anybody else that had come to any of the prior meetings. So we should have, even though it won't be in person, we should have pretty good attendance for that meeting. They talked about the 2021 project maintenance. We'll have city council action on that actually on February 3rd. This is for all the seal coating of all the new pavement and then some reconstructive on the original hangar. We had the discussion on the FAA requirements regarding non-aeronautical use of hangars. So we are going to be sending out a notice to all the hangar owners to update their aircraft information because we have to upload that to the based aircraft website because we can't have hangars used for non-aeronautical use, so we want to verify that. And then, as Ben said, there was some hangar door work that had to be done. And then also they reviewed the response to the 5010 inspection, which is an inspection that is done every 3 years on the airport, and they identify issues which we then replied to and corrected all the issues that they brought up, things like faded stickers on the fuel pump and a lack of a sign, that type of thing. So we are monitored by MnDOT on those things. So as I said, we'll have no action tonight, but you will be looking at approving the plans for the 2021 project out there at the next meeting.
Questions, comments? Okay. EDA report?
So the EDA met in their regular session on Wednesday, January 6th at noon. They did receive the Chamber of Commerce report from Brent Leeser. He kind of brings us up to date on what they are, talked about their memberships and renewals, and that their annual dinner is going to be virtual this year. They received the report from Kevin Uphoff of Sauk Center Opportunities. They now have a signed purchase agreement for their last lots in the industrial park, and so they've got that moving forward. And related to that, there will be a proposed tax increment financing in the park for that lot. That buyer has applied for a grant as well. If he is successful in getting that grant, then he'll be coming forward with an application for TIF, and we'll be seeing that project move forward this year. We have continued discussion on the information center property. It's going very well. The third party to the project was in Sauk Center on January 13th. They were here about 4 hours, and I met with them, and our agent was there, and then the other parties to the development were there. It sounds promising, so we keep moving forward. We're going to have some action that the council is going to have to take shortly regarding some platting and that type of thing. So that'll come back to you probably after the next EDA meeting. We had the finalization of the BDPI grant from DEED. That was for the grant for the Unger land development. In fact, Warren just signed the application tonight, so we're going to be sending that on in tomorrow. And then also they had some discussion on the town clock, which was the clock that was over by Minnesota National Bank, which is now Center for Christ, which now the clock is in our storage barn. And they had discussion on whether it should be repurposed and installed somewhere on Main Street or what the disposition of that clock should be. So we've had some interest in it, and so that's why they began the discussion. We'll have more discussion on that at a later date. And I have no action for the council from the EDA tonight.
Okay. Any questions, concerns? Okay, move on to action items. 7A, accept fire department retirements.
Two Sauk Center Fire Department firemen have submitted their retirements from the department. John Egan has been with the department since July of 1992, and Bruce Westbrook has been with the department since June of 1995. So their retirements are effective on January 7th, 2021. So we're requesting to accept the resignations of John Egan and Bruce Westbrook from the Sauk Center Fire Department.
Comments? Do I have a motion to accept the resignations of John Egan and Bruce Westbrook?
Motion to accept.
Motion from Joe. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second from Diane. Call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. 7B, approve agreement with senior dining.
So in 2010, the city entered into an agreement with Catholic Charities for the use of the senior center for senior dining and Meals on Wheels. If you remember, prior to that, it was at the Legion. In exchange for use of the facility, Catholic Charities reimburses the city for added cleaning and refuse at $285 per month. They are requesting a renewal to continue through 2021, and I do have a copy of the agreement in your packet, which is just the continued agreement from year to year. So we're looking to approve the agreement with Catholic Charities for use of the senior center for senior dining and Meals on Wheels with an expense reimbursement of $285 per month.
Comments? Concerns? The contract that's in here says $275 a month.
She sent me an old one. It was $285 all last year.
Okay. I seen the difference. I'm going, okay. So didn't know if there was a typo or something like that, so. Okay. Any other questions? Do I have a motion to approve the agreement with Catholic Charities for the use of the senior center?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Heidi. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Shallen. Call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. 7D, approve resolution 2020-04, approving specs and authorizing bids for the tanker.
So the city's capital improvement plan and proposed budget for 2021 includes the purchase of a tanker truck for the fire department to replace the existing 1996 truck. Because the purchase is expected to exceed the competitive bidding threshold, bids should be sought for those replacements. Specifications has been prepared by a committee of the fire department in consultation with the truck manufacturers, and I do have those specifications in my office. However, delivery of the truck is estimated to take 14 months after the bid is awarded, so we won't actually see it in 2021. We'll see it sometime in 2022. And so what we're looking at tonight is to approve Resolution 2021-04, approving the specs and authorizing the advertisement for bids for the truck. And it really is very similar to the one that we have right now. The tank is going to be just a little bit smaller, and of course the lights and all that will be upgraded. But if you're familiar with Unit 4, which is the 96, it will be very similar to that truck.
Questions, concerns? Do I have a motion to approve resolution 2021-04?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Diane. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Heidi. Any other discussion? Call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
Aye.
Motion carries 4 in favor, none against, 1 abstention. 7E, approve resolution 2020-05, authorizing sale of excess equipment.
The 2009 Dodge Ram pickup box and the 1997 Dodge Ram tailgate were advertised through the online bidding process. It's actually a 2014 trucks box. We're advertised through the online bidding with MinBid, and the successful buyers are listed below. We sold the 2014 truck box for $1,230 and the tailgate from the 97 for $50. And so we're looking to approve resolution 2021-05, accepting this bids for the excess property.
Questions, comments? Do I have a motion to approve resolution 2021-05?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Shallen,
Joe.
seconded by Joe.
The other way around.
Other way around?
Yeah.
Okay. Motion by Joe, seconded by Shallen. Call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. 7F, approve application for rezoning Unger 59 acres.
As part of the application for the BDPI grant with deed that we spoke of a little bit earlier, the property we're expected to utilize the funds for has to be zoned properly for that industrial use. And when it came into the city, when we annexed in, we did not rezone it at that time to the city zoning classification. So what we're looking to do tonight is to approve an application for a zoning map amendment for the Unger Ag Land, and that we would have the public hearing before the Planning Commission on February 9th, 2021. So the EDA recommends that we do proceed with that process, and so the action requested is to approve the application for the zoning map amendment for the Unger Ag Land.
Questions? Do I have a motion to approve the application?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Diane. Do I have a second?
No second.
Second by Heidi. Any other discussion? Call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. 7G, request for amendment to ice time purchase agreement, Sauk Center Hockey Association.
So a letter has been received from the Sauk Melrose Youth Hockey Association regarding their ice billing contract with the city. You do have a copy of the contract, or of the letter in your packet, as well as Mike Anderson, the president of the association, is here to answer any questions that you may have. We have a contract for the 2020-21 season that they'll pay for 395 hours at $100 per hour, which is $39,500. The season is from essentially MEA weekend through February. Since that time, the city agreed to keep the ice in the arena through March to allow for an extended season to help make up for the month it was closed in December due to the governor's order. The association is requesting that the city only charge for hours used at the contract rate, which was estimated at 300 hours. This includes the hours in March that would have otherwise been in addition to our contract. The request is based upon lost fundraising opportunities for the association, loss of tournament registrations, loss of concessions, and loss of gambling revenues. The council also should consider the following. The city did continue to maintain the ice during the times the arena was closed in December. The city will be paying approximately $5,000 extra in utilities to keep the ice in for the extra month of March. The labor really should be a wash because we didn't have a lot of labor there in December, so we'll have that there in March, so that'll kind of wipe itself out. And we also had some expected additional income because the Long Prairie Arena was going to be closed due to renovations. Of course, that is not going to materialize. So it kind of a little bit goes both ways. So we're asking you to consider the request of the Sauk Melrose Youth Hockey Association for basically a discount on their season ice time billing.
Questions, comments? Do we know approximately the dollar difference we're talking about?
Well, our contract was $39,500.
Okay,
And so that was like the base rate. If they went over that, then they were to pay at $130 an hour. They're just asking for a flat $30,000
okay,
for all of it through the end of March, which really March would have been in addition otherwise.
right, okay.
Has there been any investigation into opportunities for grant funding or relief funding?
The grants like that we gave out and that Stearns County specifically exclude two things: associations or agencies that derive income from gambling, and youth sports organizations. They specifically call out youth sports as excluded. I don't know why, but what they do.
Is there any other questions?
And Mike is here if you have some questions for him or if he wants to speak. I don't know.
Yeah, I'd like to elaborate on that.
You want to step up to the mic, Mike?
To address Heidi's question regarding grant money that we had applied with, we did make attempts with the Sauk Area Recovery Fund, finding out that we weren't eligible for that. We did also apply for a Burnix Family Foundation. They have a grant. We requested $50,000 through them. If I have the application here, if you're looking for content, basically we were looking for relief knowing we were going to be struggling with COVID-19. That was ultimately denied. We did reapply again for a response fund grant here through Sauk Center for $3,000. That was denied as well. And currently there is a nonprofit relief program through Stearns County that we've applied. We applied as of January 13th, and we're requesting $15,000, and that's pending as of right now.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions or comments?
So Vicki, you mentioned they're just asking for a flat 30,000. Now is that just based on their estimates, or it'll be whatever $100 or $100 an hour based on what their actuals are?
It'll just
at the end
be
of the season?
$30,000
So even if they do 310, we're gonna.
It's my understanding
30,000?
that it's $30,000 regardless of the hours, right? Through the end of March.
Yes, so the request we are making is for a flat rate of $30,000 for the remaining of the season. The hour estimate breakdown to kind of go on where we're at. The contract is 395 hours at $100 an hour, so $39,500. Currently, we're estimated to go over that rate by 42.75 hours. Pending the outcome of this meeting, the There has been discussion with the Long Prairie Hockey Association for them to approach you as a council as well to come up with a contract for that, any hours over the 395. So, but yes, on the agenda is for the flat rate of $30,000.
Okay.
Are you anticipating using it the rest of the month of March?
As of right now, we have hockey scheduled out till March 21st.
Okay.
I have a strong belief that the city will be able to start ripping that ice out March 22nd. The purpose of the extension wasn't a decision by us as an association, it was made by Minnesota Hockey, who's their governing body. And the way they determine that end date is the state tournament for the youth. So the state tournament for the youth is March 28th. However, the outcome of our teams right now, I don't believe that they will make it to state. So we should be finished with ice by March 22nd.
Okay. And so then, for clarification, so you're actually anticipating you're gonna use the 395 hours plus, but you're asking for a discount. Is that correct?
Yeah, we're anticipating we're gonna use 437.75 hours.
Okay.
Mike, is there any implication to your funding outside of what the city agreement is? If this grant goes through, is it a possibility that we could table this discussion until February?
That is a possibility, yes.
So do you have an estimated date that the grant monies will have an answer?
No, they opened it as of January 11th, and they said it remains open until all the funds are gone. There's $3 million available to small businesses and nonprofits within Stearns County.
It's just Stearns County?
Yes, so
Okay.
I don't know how long or how their distribution takes place, but I haven't heard anything yet.
Okay.
Any other questions?
In terms of like the loss of revenue with the concession stands, is that a kind of with the state rules, or is that kind of an association decision not to run the concessions?
It's been more of it at a district level. We are trying to as a district, so the way the governing bodies of youth hockey works is we are part of District 15, which is kind of the central north region of the state. And within the district, they're asking for new concession stands to be open, as well as just simply the headache of having abiding by having same families working that concession stand area, but also we are trying to comply with the high school as well. With the high school games up there, they're not allowing concessions. So it's hard for us to stock it for youth games and have overhead for not for high school games, which high school games is our largest revenue builder. So really, without those high school games as concessions, it really doesn't do us any good to have it open for youth games anyhow.
Sure. Okay.
Any other questions, concerns? I looked at it, and at first I'm going, well, you know, I'm thinking, leave it as is, you know, the way it is. But then I got to thinking that we kind of, as a council, set a precedence when we prorated the liquor license fees for all the bars because they were closed down for a while. And so the hockey association's in the same boat as far as it's not their fault that it was shut down for a whole month either. So I could go either way, you know, as far as council's decision, you know, but that's kind of the way I looked at it. I could see offering them a break on it. But if they're gonna be over hours then more than what they thought they were gonna be, then it changes the thing, so.
Well, I guess in that aspect though, the over hours is their estimated, but with loss of opportunities for gaining extra income by concession stands and by gambling, then they're losing out on that aspect as well as on ice time, what we're, you
Right.
know.
And that's the
charging.
reason why I was thinking the way I was, that, you know, we did it for one because it was not their fault they were shut down. Maybe we look at the same thing. The dollar number, you know, the figures might be a little higher on this point than what we did, but treat everybody the same. You know, they were shut down, they couldn't get any revenue coming in, and we were expecting it, so.
I definitely feel that youth sports deserve a little break, a big break. And if we have the opportunity to do that and also give them a little bit extra option if they're able to recoup something in other ways by saving on ice time or whatever future prospect there is, I think they deserve that this year. It's an odd year, so.
And I know with other sports, junior high sports are pretty much non-existent. So, if you're gonna have any varsity sports in the future, it's gonna be dependent on as much break as we can as far as, payments or, so. What's the council's wishes, or you have more discussion?
Well, is that our overage including the time in December that was not being utilized yet? So I mean, that's something too. I mean, they couldn't even
Right.
be in there in that time.
So,
I mean, for me, I guess this one's, it's a bit challenging because of the dollar amount. We know we're gonna have the expenses tied into, the arena and maintaining the ice for an extra month and all those things. But at the same time, I think with our youth activities, we wanna have those opportunities for our kids. And if we, ask the association to continue to pay this and it dramatically affects them and we lose hockey, well then, now we don't have a revenue source, at all for the arena potentially during those months. So, yeah, it's a tough one, but I think too with that, the precedent and some of those things, I guess I'm willing to work with them here.
Is there a way that we could maybe wait until, if there's a possibility that this grant money is received before either when do we normally, Vicki, when do we normally send payment or give the grant money or the?
The invoices, you mean when do they pay?
Yes, the invoice, yes, thank you.
What we do is we bill them for half on December 31st and then half when they're done in the spring. So like right now, they have an outstanding invoice for half of the billing.
Okay.
because they were basically shut down for a month, and so.
So could we keep that invoice in running, but look at this,
May I address that billing issue?
go ahead.
Sure.
So just to clarify, on the billing, this year was agreed upon with Ben Klink outside the contract. The way the contract is actually written is for the first half of the billing, we get billed for the actual usage, and then the last payment comes to us is the remaining balance of whatever ice is either used, not used, or over exceeded.
So,
The agreement this year, since we were shut down in December, was to bill us that full half amount instead of only billing us for the actual hours used from October to December 31st.
so your outstanding bill right now is about 17, I'm trying to do quick math here.
So
19,750.
19, yeah.
if we really wanted to go down per the contract, we should have been billed for 102.75 hours. So it should have been just over, should have been $10,275, and I do believe the invoice bill was $19,500. So the city could recoup some of that money during non-operation during December. So we already are kind of going outside the agreed upon contract of this is what the bill, what we agreed to. We understand there's overhead expense. We'll pay for the first half, agree to pay for the second half. at a
So-
different time.
So the opportunity there to keep the contract or to keep the agreement for this year exists, that the first half is paid, and then pending this grant money, we could revisit, maybe come up with a different solution to not necessarily completely taking off $9,500 plus the additional $5,000 of what we've put into non-operational time, but we could maybe relook at those numbers again in February?
Yeah, we certainly could. My only concern is just working with the Long Prairie Association, and as if we aren't able to get this break on the bill, is if we are gonna get stuck with a full bill of getting them to be able to present in time, by the time our bill is due, for the overage hours, to get a contract in place, so we aren't paying the fee schedule amount. Because the city fee schedule for ice rinks is higher than what we have contracted.
Okay,
So that's our only concern with delaying it any further. So, thank you.
comments, concerns? We can vote to leave as is, give them the reduction, or table it.
I'm going to motion to table it until the first meeting in February. And if we know the results of that grant application, revisit possibilities of a reduction.
Okay, we have a motion to table it. Do I have a second? Do I have a second? Do I have a second? Motion dies for lack of a second.
I'll make a motion that we give them the break.
Okay, we have a motion by Diane to reduce it to straight 30,000? Is that what your
Yes.
motion is?
Yes.
Okay. We have a motion from Diane. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Second from Joe. Now that we got a motion and a second, is there any discussion? Or comments?
I do have one more question on that. If we do reduce it to that 30,000, is there any, I mean, what kind of loss is there at that number?
Going to 30,000 would be reducing by 9,500 plus the extra billing would be going to 30,000 from approximately 45. The park board could possibly look at where they can come up with $15,000 to make up for the shortfall, but they don't meet now until February, so I won't take that to them. The ice arena is teetering at falling into the red. As you know, it was way in the red many years ago and we dug it out, and now we're kind of going that direction again. So we'll have to take a hard look at how to keep that arena floating. And this will be probably a catalyst to get that conversation kicked into full gear at the park board and ultimately the council level.
I guess I'm just wondering if there's a break-even number somewhere in the middle, or if there's a halfway point.
We run at a loss every year.
Okay.
If that's your answer.
Okay,
It's
all
a
right.
plain answer right there.
Okay.
Any other comments or questions? We have a motion to reduce the total to 30,000. We have a second. I'll call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Abstentions? Motion carries 4 in favor, 1 against. 7H, approve appointment of patrol officer.
According to prior council action, an advertisement was published for the creation of a hiring list for the position of a full-time patrol officer. As it expected, this list will be used for 2 or 3 positions throughout the year as needed. Applications were received, candidates were selected for interviews, and interviews were conducted by city staff and the mayor and myself, and the applicants were ranked in order. Background investigations were conducted and candidates on the candidates, which further narrowed the list. The department is now requesting that 1 officer be appointed to fill the newly created full-time patrol officer position. The position to be offered at the closest step to his current position, along with 40 hours of earned vacation. So the action requested is to appoint Mark Grinstead at step 2 with 40 hours of vacation, effective upon passage of final background and any physical testing required. Of course, the reason for step 2 was because that's just above what he's currently making, and the 40 hours of vacation was he already has a family vacation plan for this summer, and we didn't want to take that away from him, so.
Okay. Questions, concerns? Do I have a motion to appoint Mark Grinstead at step 2 and 40 hours of vacation, effective on the background check and physical testing required?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Diane. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Shallen. Any other discussion? Call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. Unfinished business, special assessment policy.
We just have 3 items of unfinished. The Finance Committee will be meeting with the city engineer to discuss potential amendments to the special assessments policy. We'll be back in front of you for some consideration in February. I think we'd like to maybe schedule that meeting with the engineer ahead of the next council meeting, but we'll get together with the finance committee on that. The second item of unfinished business is the fish cleaning house, which the final numbers are being gathered for that construction, and we're expecting to have that in front of you in February, as well as the Browns Park bathroom bids. So we had to have those, we've been working on that over time, and as we continue to revise those specifications, and because we're acting as the general, we've kind of got multiple bids he's got to pull together. So we'll have that all in front of you, so we're ready for construction. Spring's right around the corner, so.
Questions on any of those? Okay. New business, grant opportunity for library windows.
The Department of Education, they oversee libraries. They have a grant opportunity for both operation and construction of libraries. As the owner of the library in Sauk Center, we should consider applying for that grant for the replacement of the windows. The original windows have deteriorated. The building was built in 1902, and they offer very little protection from the weather, both hot and cold. It's estimated the window replacement will cost approximately $100,000. The grant is a 50-50 split, so the city would have to provide 50% of the cost from other sources. Once the application is available, it will become before the council for approval. I just wanted you to know that I would recommend that we apply for that, because we've been talking about how do we get those windows replaced. When you're inside there in the window, any time of the year, the wind is blowing the blinds when the windows are shut. So kind of gives you an idea of what they're dealing with over there. So I think it'd be a good idea. But there's no action required tonight.
Any concerns on applying for that then?
No, got to do it.
Okay. We'll move on to our consent agenda. We have schedule of claims, unpaid claims of $43,308.42 for a total of the same. December checks, paid claims / payroll of $543,026.78. I can't even say that. We have our 2020 contribution list listed there. Once again, I'm not going to read that whole list, but we want to, on behalf of the city, thank everyone for those contributions or in-kind services. We have gambling application for exempt permit request from Holy Family School for a raffle on March 7th, 2021 at Holy Family School. Is there any questions or concerns with the consent agenda? Do I have a motion to approve the consent calendar as presented?
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
That was motion by Shellen,
Yep.
second by Diane. Call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. Informational items.
Just a couple of informational items. Stearns County is having a public hearing on ordinance 617, and that's coming up here in February. It is a Zoom meeting. It'd be a little interesting for, I think, us, because it has some relativity. It has to do with alterations to shoreland, sand blankets and all that riprap and that type of thing that they'll have a management of, and then also recreational vehicles. And of course, this is out in the county, not in the city, but we always like to keep track of what they're doing. And they're going to start limiting more and having more enforcement on people putting RVs on like lake lots and that type of thing. So we may borrow some language from their ordinances when they're complete. And then the fire service assessments have gone out. We're not having an in-person meeting this year, so all the townships have been given all the information. You have just one page in your packet of what their assessment is. I should have put what it was last year because everybody went down, because we are actually assessing out a lower dollar amount, because a lot of the expenses that we have had to expend in the fire department have been completed now, and so we're able to kind of reduce that assessment. And then, of course, Spectrum channel lineup change. We get one of those almost every meeting, so they're constantly changing. And that affects our franchise agreement, and that's why we have to put them in your packet. So, other than that, that's all I have.
Any questions on those items? Okay, that brings us to the end of our agenda. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion by Heidi. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Joe. Call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. Meeting adjourned.